Welcome back to Velocity Podcast. I'm your host, Sherri Barna, and I am so excited. I just came back from New York City and I learned so much about marketing, and my experience was amazing. So if you're a brand marketer, if you're an entrepreneur, if you just want to learn more about what's going on in New York City, you need to listen to this podcast because this episode will apply to you, and everything I learned in New York we can 100% use in our smaller cities. And so let's dive right into it. New York City is a city that never sleeps. That's the big branding. It's a vibrant hub of culture, innovation, tons of energy, relentless energy. And as a marketer, visiting New York City was very eye-opening. I realized a lot, and I'm going to definitely break this down. There's a few things I want to talk about. Four things in this episode. Number one, you need captivating visuals, you need bold branding, you need to consider doing experiential marketing, and lastly, you need to invest in marketing. I know as a marketer, I feel a little like self-serving saying that, but you have to invest 100% into your marketing and it will pay dividends if done right, and you will grow your business. First up, let's talk about bold branding. So if you've ever been to New York or if you've ever seen New York City in the movies, it's exactly that. You walk into Times Square and it is relentless. It is bright, even in the nighttime. It's crazy, just ads on top of ads on top of ads. Everywhere you look, everything is pointing for your attention. It's fighting for your attention to watch the screen. Times Square knows how powerful the branding can be because everyone, like even myself, like we turned the corner, all of a sudden we were in the center of Times Square and it was just bright. So we're like looking around, it's just so much to take in. And then we started looking at specific ads. And when you're waiting to cross the street and you're waiting for that like hand to stop flashing or whatever, you're watching the ads because they're really, really engaging. And the branding was phenomenal. Bold branding, it leverages striking images, vibrant colors, unique design elements, and it helps stand out among chaos. Like it's completely chaotic. So what I'm thinking here is, as someone living in a smaller town, we actually have major legs up because Times Square, again, the whole thing is literally just billboards, like electronic billboards. Here in Brantford, we only have like 5 or 6. In the county, we have a few. Hamilton, Cambridge, there's a handful, but it's not all against each other. So we actually have a chance to stand out even greater than the brands that invest in Times Square. The other thing I noticed is not just Times Square. So Times Square 100% is like a marketer's dream. But outside of that, there were a lot of unconventional spaces where branding was happening. It could have been a mural on a busy street, a pop-up shop in a high traffic area, branded installations in public parks. Anywhere people could get their name, they did it. There is always space for you. So you need to think beyond traditional ad opportunities and just really think creatively. Consistent branding stood out. So when it was a Nike ad or when it was just Coke, anything, we knew what it was. The brand voice 100% matched up. It was very cohesive, even though they're trying to be extra creative and like, again, competing against all these other brands and businesses. They were able to stand out because we knew them already. They had footing with us already. We already knew kind of what to expect almost. So I thought that was really, really interesting. So bold branding is number one lesson from New York City. Number two, captivating visuals. Okay, so again, they had a lot of competition. Again, you walk into Times Square, it's all billboards. Everywhere you look, it's just like flashing lights telling you about a company. What made a company stand out over another was the captivating visuals. So high definition was obviously number one, not only colorful and like the bold branding that we talked about before, but everything was done really, really well. Nothing was fuzzy around the edges. Everything was high definition, which I find a lot of people, they just kind of like throw together things and it might not fit the billboard that we have on the corner of like King George and at the Dairy Queen or whatever. And we're like, yeah, it's fine. It's not fine. You have to make sure you're leveling up your your billboards, your graphics, make sure everything's proper. Times Square is known for the high definition LED billboards. We have it in every city in Canada, so we need to make sure we're doing that too. You need to invest in the high quality content. So if you are, doing your own thing and you're on Canva, that is great, but sometimes you need to spend a little bit of money, you need to invest in it into a graphic designer who can level up your content, your visuals, because visuals stop people in its tracks. And again, I've talked about Canva, love Canva, use Canva, encourage people to use Canva, but sometimes you do need to go to the next level. When? I would say a billboard. Hire a graphic designer. Don't you take care of that. That's one time you need to say like, okay, spend the money. Number two, whenever you're doing permanent signs. So I had there was a golf tournament last week that I supported. I had a golf sign at one of the holes because I sponsored a hole. That's the time you need to invest in high quality graphics. Your business card, even anything you hand out to anybody, anything that's a little more longer lasting than just like a flash in a pan, that's when to convince yourself it's worth to spend the money on a graphic designer, even if you do know Canva, because creativity in design is the crucial element. And if you're already investing in the money to be on a billboard or to do print media or to get into like a magazine or a newspaper, you want to make sure you're going to get the most amount of return for that. And creativity and the visuals, that is literally the important part of that. So again, social media, 100% do yourself if you can, use Canva, do your own thing. When it comes to anything a little more permanent or anything that's going to be seen in front of a bunch more people, invest in a graphic designer. Creativity is so important, and creativity in design. At one point, we're standing waiting to cross the street. We're in Times Square, and it was like it just looked like a 3D image was like bringing us a drink. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And we watched it because it was captivating. It was so realistic. And I was just like, oh, what? And then it came around again. We're like, oh, there's that ad. And then yet again, we watched it. So that creativity, just kind of like, instead of your typical commercial that you might see, that creativity, making it a little more 3D, making it a little more interactive that way, it got our attention and we watched. We were entertained. And if you can kind of cross entertainment with advertising, that's the chef's kiss. That is gold. Something else that held our entertainment, and actually was one of the highlights of the trip, and this is hilarious that it was, experiential marketing. I talk about this once in a while, but if you can kind of figure out how to make this work for you, you will be laughing. Customer experience is paramount. Offering personalized experience to your customers is so worth the, again, investment and just like the thought process behind it. In a city where reputation spreads very quickly, excellent customer service and an experience will make your brand stand out. Again, we're talking about New York City here. Bring it back into our smaller cities. Maybe nobody's doing customer experience. Like I know I do my drinking things and whiskey tastings and stuff like that. That's experiential. Who else is doing anything experiential? I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, but let me tell you about Nike. Nike, we just went to the store because we were walking down, I think it was like Fifth Ave, and we're like, oh, there's Nike, let's walk in. As soon as we walk in, a man greets us wearing his like get up, and he's like, and it was like huge LED poster boards essentially. And he goes, welcome to Nike. We hope you enjoy your experience. And as soon as he said that word experience, I'm like, oh yeah, we're in for it. As a marketer, that's like a buzzword that I get very excited about. This was amazing because not only was the store itself an experience, it was like 4 or 5 levels, just like really well laid out, like, with the big billboards that are flashing at you, with the amazing customer service, the displays of the actual shoes, amazing. But here is the kicker. You get So you walk through this tunnel, welcome to Nike, here's the experience, and you turn left, and then they had this huge bubble with one of those like lines that you can't necessarily cross, and someone's standing there. So we're like, oh, what's this? She's like, well, come in. We're releasing a new shoe. It's like one of those things with like the bubbles on the heel, and it's really comfortable, and why don't you take part in this experience? So we're like, oh, okay, sure, not knowing what to expect. What's your shoe size? Size 8. She gives us our shoes. She's like, okay, you just go through there, and there's this cool photo booth, basically. Now, when I think of photo booth, I think of like the wedding photo booths where you're holding up like the little mustache stick, or like you have like welcome 2024 on your glasses or whatever. This was next level. I felt like I was in like a rapper video. I don't know how to describe it. So like around was the bubble that they have in the shoe. So it's really, really soft. And then they had these two cameras top and bottom. So like look up, look down, look up, look down. And you take these pictures. Then they printed as many as you wanted. We only wanted 2, of course. And so we got to pick 4 pictures. Then the cool thing was like, hey, here's your video of you being in this bulb or in this circle photo booth here. And they gave us this video. I'm telling you, the whole experience was so unexpected, so fun. It made me want to buy the shoe, and it just really, really worked. Now, why is experiential marketing so great? There's a few reasons. One, it creates a memorable experience. Like I said, this Nike experience, it was a highlight of the trip. I don't know why. We saw a lot of amazing things and did a lot of fun things. I think because it was unexpected, but it was memorable. It engages multiple senses. So we weren't just reading and consuming that way. We were feeling, we were smelling, we were moving, we were doing a lot of things, which leads into, it generates a lot of word of mouth buzz or social media buzz, or what I would call user-generated content. Why is user-generated content so good? So they invested in this bubble, and the person standing there telling us, come on, come and enjoy this experience. What we did, we literally told a lot of people about this. I'm literally doing a podcast about it. We had our picture and our video that we uploaded to social media, and we're now Nike ambassadors. Like, you gotta go. Oh my gosh, if you ever in New York, check it out. Oh, and it's just somehow they made us like them more. They built an emotional connection, which is another highlight and another benefit of doing experiential marketing. So I just wanted to mention that because I found that very, very, very awesome, and I was just like, oh man, I got to bring this back home and tell people to do this. And okay, so that was 3. You have your big bold branding, you have your creative elements, and your experiential marketing. Lastly, and this ties it all together, the brands who stood out, the brands who were there, they invested in their marketing. They're not hoping for the best. They're not hoping that, opportunity falls in their lap or that we stumbled across their stores. They are actively investing in their audience. 2 members of their audience. One, their audience that has their target audience, people that haven't yet bought a pair of shoes or drank the drink, people who haven't maybe even heard of their company yet. They're investing in their target audience, trying to get in front of people who they want to get in front of. 2, they're also investing in the people who already bought in, who already have an affinity for the brand. So we don't forget about them. So when I walk into that convenience store and there's like a ton of drinks there, I know I'm reaching for a Coke. I didn't forget about them. They're always in front of my face. So that's two audiences that they are trying to get into. Investing in marketing is so essential for a brand's growth. You can't grow widely without it. So sometimes I hear people being like, oh, we're, Hamilton's best kept secret. That is not a badge of honor. If you're in business, you need to make money. So sell like crazy. Get people knowing your name, spreading their word about you. Let people share your social media posts or experience your store and talk about it so well. It doesn't have to be a crazy thing like Nike, by the way. I have been in the Brantford Club, and I sat down in any of the clubs, like there's the Windsor Club, any of the city clubs, I guess. You sit down, the personalized customer service is so out of this world, in a world that doesn't know how to do customer service anymore, that I tell people about these places. I'm like, oh, it's worth it. You should see how they treat you. That's experience. Okay, so anyway, back to investing. How do you invest? Well, invest in your people. So happy workers make customers happy. We've all stepped into the store where it's like, wow, you do not want to be there. I know I worked at a place where I didn't want to be there. Actually, I remember my sister came in for a cup of coffee. She was sitting with a friend, saw me working, and she's like, you got to leave here, man. this place is making you miserable. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I'm wearing it all over my face even. So I ended up quitting, not for the good of the company, but for the good of myself. But the point is, it's like, wow, it was such a hard company to work for, and the managers were so brutal and stuff, that it didn't make me want to be there. I wasn't happy. I wasn't serving people like willingly and happily. I was just doing a job. Invest in your people, make them happy to be working with you. This marketing aside, this is something that I think a lot of people need to do. When that happens, us as customers, we walk in and we can sense the difference. The energy is different. Everything is different. And that is part of experience, and it's part of the customer experience. Customers matter. And I think sometimes a lot of people forget that. You guys are here to serve us, and I'm here to serve my customers and clients. How do we do that well? All right, so investing in your people, to make your customers feel good, to make them feel good, to just have a good energy in the store. Invest in social media. So I'm talking a lot about like traditional media. Going to New York City, it's totally like not all about traditional media. It's a lot of traditional media, and but social media, invest in it. Run ads, get out banner ads if you want. Invest in a good website. That's your storefront if you don't have a storefront. Highlight your unique selling points. Just get visible. Be visible. You don't want to be best kept secret. You want to be visible. These are 4 things, 4 lessons. There's so many more lessons from New York. Maybe I'll do like a part 2. It's just amazing. I've been there a bunch of times. Again, not my favorite city in the world. I'm not a city girl, actually. Mountains, water, not a huge city person. Going there as a marketer with my marketer's eyes, it was a game changer. It really was exciting for me. So I wanted to just, anyway, bring this to you, help you understand, hey, here's some tactics we can get from these big brands who are investing in a lot of marketing in New York City, which is like a crazy competitive space. Bring it home to us. So in Hamilton, Brantford, Cambridge, just in our smaller cities, we can get moving, build our brand, get people knowing about us, spending money with us, and growing our local economy. That's what I'm here for. I want to give all my knowledge to you guys. I want to serve my customer base and my audience base. Overall, marketing is important. You have to have a marketing strategy. Please take a few minutes, figure out one. It will take longer than a few minutes, I'm sorry to say, but you need to do it for the benefit of your business. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed that podcast, Marketing in New York City, things you can take home, put in your pocket, and make happen. Enjoy the rest of the day, and feel free to leave a review or even share this video with your friends.